Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. This is your big brother, Dr. Umar Ifatunde Ogun Tade. This is your big brother, Dr. Umar Ifatunde Ogun Tade. This is your big brother, Dr. Umar Ifatunde Ogun Tade. Coming to you live and direct from Wilmington, Delaware. Coming to you live and direct from Wilmington, Delaware. Coming to you live and direct from Wilmington, Delaware. Brothers and sisters, this is my first time going live. No, this is not the new phone. I'm going live from the FDMG phone. This is not the new phone. I'm going live from the FDMG phone. Brothers and sisters, hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. PayPal.me/FDMG Academy. PayPal.me/FDMG Academy. I saw day 3 of the Democratic National Convention. I saw day 3 of the Democratic National Convention. Kamala Harris is Barack Obama 2.0. Unlike many of my fellow American Africans, unlike many of my fellow American Africans, unlike many of my fellow American Africans who are caught up in the emotionalism of election 2024. I'm not caught up in the emotionalism of election 2024. If it's one thing political science has taught me, you cannot be emotional when making political decisions. You cannot be emotional when conducting political analysis. 3 things came out. 4 things came out very clearly to me in Vice President Harris's lecture. And for my Democratic Party plantation slaves, I am neither pro-Trump nor pro-Harris. I want to be very clear. I am neither pro-Trump nor pro-Harris. I want to be very, very clear. I am neither pro-Trump or pro-Harris. Let me make this very, very clear. The reason Vice President Harris gets more attention is because the black bourgeoisie, the coon Illuminati, the untalented 10th, the Negro aristocracy is actively selling Vice President Harris to the American African community. The bourgeoisie, the untalented 10th, the coon Illuminati, the Negro aristocracy is trying to shame American Africans into voting for Vice President Harris. So she's going to get more attention because we already know what the Donald Trump agenda is for African people, and it's not good. We already know what the Donald Trump agenda is for the American African people, and it's not good. We already know what the Donald Trump agenda is for the American African, and it's not good. But the black bourgeoisie, particularly the celebrity elite of the Negro aristocracy, the celebrity elite of the Negro aristocracy, the celebrity elite of the Negro aristocracy is trying to sell us Vice President Harris. So what are the 4 themes that came out in Vice President Harris's speech? Now let's put this in context. Let Intercontinental Ifatunde put this in context. Toronto, Canada, October 5th and 6th, pull-up season. Toronto, Canada, October 5th and 6th, pull-up season. Toronto, Canada, October 5th and 6th, pull-up season. Melbourne and Sydney, Australia, the date will be dropping soon. Melbourne and Sydney, Australia, the date will be dropping soon. My Australian Africans, God willing, I will see you before the year ends, completing my continental sweep, the first scholar of modern time to be invited to speak on every continent in the world at least twice. History will be made in Melbourne and Sydney, Australia. History will be made in Melbourne or Sydney, Australia. But the 4 themes that came out in Vice President Harris's speech, and mind you, she did not write the speech. The white power structure does not leave speech writing to the politicians for president. Let us be clear. She did not write the speech. She gave the speech. So when you're analyzing and evaluating, when you're trying to understand, overstand, and understand Vice President Harris's words, you have to think about the power structure who wrote the speech, the messages they wanted to give to the American people, and the messages, more importantly, that they did not want to give to the American African people. Let me say that again. Shout out to the Virgos. I understand we in Virgo season, but I'm still rocking my Leo colors. Shout out to the Virgos. I know we in Virgo season, but I'm still rocking my Leo colors. Shout out to the Virgos. I know we in Virgo season, but I'm still rocking my Leo colors. Michelle Obama is not a candidate for president. Like I said, presidential candidates do not write their own speeches when it comes to speaking at their respective parties' national convention. Please improve your listening comprehension skills. Please improve your listening comprehension skills. Please improve your listening comprehension skills. So what were the messages that the white power structure put into Vice President Harris's speech? A couple of messages. Number 1, immigrants are the future of America. That's number 1. Oh, yes. People of color are the future of America. People of color does not include black. People of color is a code word that we're talking to all non-black people of color. So that's number 1. People of color are not included in the future. Excuse me. People of color are the future of America. American Africans are not. People of color are the future of America, but American Africans are not. Didn't you find how strategically they played to black people? They had a black anchor. They had a black band. They had Al Sharpton. They had my beautiful sister, Kerry Washington, who's a fabulous orator. A fabulous orator, but a Democratic Party plantation slave nonetheless, but a fabulous orator. They had D.L. Hughley come on out there. They had the Central Park 5 come on out there. They played to black people's emotions very well. They played to black people's emotions very well. They played to black people's emotions very well, but they strategically and effectively did not discuss black people at all. Are you feeling me? Where my deep thinkers at? This is a message for deep thinking Africans. Emotional plantation party members, get off the feed right now. This is not a conversation for Democratic Party plantation slaves. This is a conversation for independent African thinkers. This is a live for independent African thinkers. If you are not an independent African thinker, you don't want to hear this message. If you are not an independent African thinker, you don't want to hear this message. If you are not an independent African thinker, you don't want to hear this message. The imagery was all for black people. The imagery was all for black people. The imagery was all for black people. The messages were completely devoid of anything relevant to black people. They used the imagery to appeal to Africans. The message was completely irrelevant to American Africans. Kind of reminds me of the last Transformers movie. It kind of reminds me of the last Transformers movie where they played hip hop music throughout the whole movie. Rise of the Beasts. Rise of the Beast. They played all black hip hop music in the last Transformers movie, but the main character was a person of color. The main character was a person of color. There were almost no black people in the movie. The sidekick sister was in the movie. The beautiful African sister was in the movie. But outside of her, there were hardly any black people in Transformers, but they played hip hop music through the whole movie. So if you are not a deep thinker, you will think Transformers had a bunch of black actors. But it only had one black actor, but they played hip hop music. The Democratic National Convention, they used black music. They played Beyonce. They had a black band. They had Al Sharpton, D.L. Hughley, the Central Park Five. But no messages for black people in Kamala Harris's speech. No messages for black people in Kamala Harris's speech. No messages for black people in Kamala Harris' speech. What you heard was immigrants over and over again. Her Indian mother, who raised her after separating from her father, she bigged up immigrants. She bigged up immigrants. Barack Obama bigged up the rainbow. Joe Biden bigged up the rainbow. Kamala Harris is bigging up the immigrant. Black people, we're done. Black people, we are done unless we decide to save ourselves. I want y'all to hear me tonight. Kamala Harris made sure not to touch on anything that matters to black people. Kamala Harris made sure not to touch on anything that matters to black people. Her message was clear. Immigrants are the future. Immigrants are the future of America, which makes sense because white people are losing their numbers. Which makes sense because white people are losing their numbers. Which makes sense because white people are losing their numbers. And so the people of color are the new probationary whites in America. I hope you American Africans are listening to me. I hope you American Africans are listening to me. I hope you American Africans are listening to me. People of color is the new code word for temporary Caucasian. People of color is the new code word for probationary Caucasian. I hope you're listening to me. People of color is the new code word for symbolic Caucasian. I hope y'all listening. And black people, part of this is our fault. American Africans, first of all, the melanin is dripping in Virgo season because the Leo sun is in the sky every day. Melanin's drip. The melanin is dripping right now, brothers and sisters. I look fabulous, if I might say so myself. My African DNA, my ancestral lineage is shining through. Not a lineage of slaves, but a lineage of freedom fighters. Not a lineage of slaves, but a lineage of the enslaved. Not a lineage of slaves, but a lineage of the free. See, unlike you Negroes, I don't believe there were slaves in America before 1865. There were enslaved Africans in America, but there were no slaves. Enslaved, you are forced. Slave, you are willing. Enslaved, you are forced. Slave, you are willing. Are you following me, brothers and sisters? Give me some hearts from the queens and some fists from the kings. Are you following me, my unapologetically African anti-snow bunny alpha males? Are you following me, my unapologetically African anti-snow puppy queens out there? We were enslaved before 1865. We volunteered to be slaves after 1865. We were enslaved before 1865. We volunteered to be slaves after 1865. We have been pushing multiculturalism to our own detriment for the last 24 years. I'm scolding the black bourgeoisie. I'm scolding the Negro elite. I'm scolding the black church. I'm scolding the black secret societies. I'm scolding black America. Did we or did we not push multiculturalism since the year 2000? True or false? Doesn't every other black person you know talk about how they love all people? They don't see color. Talk black to me right now, Africans. Did we not for the last quarter of a century tell the whole world we love everybody and we don't want no special treatment? We don't want no favors. True or false, brothers and sisters? Did we not dig the ditch?